Dear students, let us start the discussion on 16th December 2016. The first article is about physically disabled, that is a law for equality. Now in 1995 there is a law for physically disabled, and it has identified 7 different disabilities and graded them to provide for the benefits to these disabled people. Now later, a committee was appointed that is called Sudha Kaul Committee. Based on its recommendation in 2014, a bill was introduced in Rajya Sabha, and with amendments, now a bill is being brought before the Lok Sabha, and then if it is been passed, a new law will be in force. What are the changes? The number of disabilities are raised to 21 now. It also includes the age-related problems such as Parkinson's, dementia, etc. And the second thing is the definition of establishment has raised to include the private establishments too. And added to that, there are penalty clauses if any of the governmental or private agency discriminates in providing occupation access, etc. And the reservations are given for 4%. What is the criticism of this law? As the number of disabilities have increased, obviously the persons coming under physically disabled category will also increase. But the reservations did not proportionally increase to the extent of the increase in number of persons. And second is, more and more you cannot categorize the diseases such as dementia, Parkinson's, etc. And it is going to be an Herculean task to determine the level of degeneration or level of disability. And finally, there are also certain loopholes through which the physically disabled can be discriminated under occupation category. It means that an occupation or a private sector can prove that this is what is the work cannot be done by a physically disabled person, or this work involves lot of mobility, etc. So the loopholes are not been properly corrected. This is another criticism. And an advisory council was appointed to oversee the implementation. As recommended by the Sudha Kaul Committee, no disability commissions are been appointed. These are the weaknesses of the law. Well-oiled diplomacy. It is about appointing the Mr. Tillerson as the Secretary of the State. Now we have to observe two things. Mr. Trump sees the diplomacy as a business transaction and deal making, and appointment of Mr. Tillerson, who has no experience with the public office, clearly reflects this. He has expanded the ExxonMobil to the 56 countries, and he was a hard bargainer and has good offices in Russia and has good relations with Mr. Putin. And the second thing is the conflict of interest has been brought in. Already Mr. Trump having a business of his own and occupying a public office, it can lead to a conflict of interest. The same is the case as more and more corporate giants, these are entering into the Trump's government. So the challenge has to be observed. And again we have the Shiv Vishwanathan article, and he talks about we as Indians, as human beings, losing our conscience and human values to respond to the suffering of the others. So there is a morality and an ethical behavior which we need to highlight for, or which we need to preserve for. But in India, we are unable to react ourselves to the human tragedy happening in Syria, that is Aleppo. And in the name of the evacuation, what is happening is a kind of a genocide. So our diplomacy is also pitiful. During the Nehruvian era, when such a human tragedy has occurred, the country appears or is forefront to react to it and give its opinion to the world and to mobilize the country through various platforms. But today, such a mobilization, such an ethical high platform, moral high ground is absent in our diplomacy. So that's what is the explanation he tries to offer to. And coming to the cyberspace. Now, vulnerabilities of India are very high in the cyberspace. Recently, if you observe, there is a hacker group called Legion. It has brought in that almost all the accounts of Government of India, email servers of National Informatics Center, they can be hacked for. As India is moving more towards a digital economy, the cost of protection of the digital data is going to be very high. and the security is being breached, then citizens will lose confidence over the cyber networks, and it will further, it will make the India to go back on its demonetization drive. Now let us take this way. Venezuela, it has moved towards the cashless economy and came back to the cash economy because of the cyber attacks and recent vulnerabilities of our Indian celebrities, and also with regard to the important governmental websites, including the defense establishments, that clearly shows that we are having higher vulnerability. In this case, we need to understand Stuxnet. It was developed by USA and Israel. It is to get the information from the Iran nuclear program. So even the states are also involved with cyber attacks. And the ongoing debate, if you see, the Russia is said to have hacked the Democratic National Convention's web servers, and it has tried to influence the American elections. It means more and more we are going digital, then more we are becoming vulnerable, and this is leading to this even threat to the democracy. Now, one way we have seen the giants such as Facebook are growing, Google are growing. Because of this, the situation as the big data is leading to control of citizens' lives, and also control is being more shifted towards the West. Now, if the cyber attacks we become vulnerable, then how or what shall be the future? In this case, the human attitudes in India and easy to go attitude, what it has been said as chalta hai culture, these can be said as a major reason for our relaxed attitude with regard to the cyber security. Rules of exchange economy. When you take this article, understand this way. Any transaction that involves two people, let's take X and Y. If X is paying the money to Y, Y has a responsibility to give it back. So it means a contract is already established in this transaction. And then if Y is not paying back to X, then X can take a legal course. This is what we call it as enforcement of contracts. This enforceability of the contracts is the responsibility of the state. And ease of doing business, good governance, they also check about the enforceability of contracts. And in one way, it is also a significant evaluator for the rule of law. And the second thing is, now narrow money. Narrow money means these are the demand deposits with bank and cash with people in the bank. So this comes as M2 or narrow money. And these demand deposits have to be given away to the people at their demand. And if the banks fail to do that, then it can be seen as violation of honoring a contract, and the citizen can go to the court. Already there are precedents. The Supreme Court has clearly stated that if a bank fails to honor a contract, it has to pay the penalties to the citizens. From this, can we see the demonetization from this dimension, where the bank is failing to honor a contract to the citizen? That's what the author talks about. Now coming to the news page. Here we need to understand FCRA, Foreign Contributions Regulation Act. The government of India cancelling the licenses of many of the NGOs for FCRA under FCRA. So these NGOs will not be able to accept any foreign donations. After the NDA government has come into power, the rules of the FCRA very much tightened, and NGOs have to report to the government regarding their foreign donations once in every 15 days. So in this context, a small breach of accounting can also be cited as a reason for cancellation of these licenses. Now coming to the Indian Express page, the church and the caste, this is one thing which I found. At the Catholic bishops meeting, it has been said that there is also a caste discrimination existing among the church. If we observe, more than 80% of the total Christians are Dalit Christians, but among the bishop's position, not even 2% are from them. Almost 12 people, around 8,000 people are from the Dalit Christians. It is abysmally low ratio. So in this context, let's understand the reservations. A person X from Hinduism is converted into Y, which is a Christianity or Islam, then he will not get the reservation benefits as he gets as a part of the Hinduism. The basic reason is the caste is not accepted by the church or Islam. So here, the caste is irrespective of the religion, irrespective of a person conversing into the other religion, it also still continues. The discrimination continues. So it means whatever the benefits available to Dalits in Hinduism, does this need to be extended to the Dalits in Christianity and Islam? That can be brought back for discussion through this. And then Bangladesh war. Let us know the background of this. Now, Mujibur Rahman won the elections in the so-called Pakistan, which consists of East and West Pakistan. But West Pakistan is powerful and had the control over the institutions. Mr. Julfikar Ali Bhutto, he has won the elections in the West Pakistan, but overall and majority with the Mujibur Rahman. So West Pakistanis were not ready to accept the East Pakistanis and their might over the institutions. And when Mujibur Rahman has resisted and the military tried to give a reply to him and suppress the voice in the case of the East Pakistan. And finally, this has led to a kind of a revolt Mukti Bahini has formed with the support of the Indian army, and finally the Bangladesh is able to get liberated itself from the Pakistan. And you all know that there was a huge immigration crisis, and India in this context, to balance the power, it has come in peace and friendship agreement with Russia. So these are all the things. And Mr. Nixon impatiently has sent his fleet into the Indian Ocean. These are the events which are important with regard to the Bangladesh war. And it was the Indira's finest moment. And Indira was declared as Durga by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. But understand, war has no victors. This is my opinion. Now, after the victory of the 1971 war, there is a clear change in Indira Gandhi's attitude. When I was reading this book by Pupul Jayakar on Indira Gandhi, what she says is this: Indira has become India, or this kind of victory has taken over into the Indira Gandhi, and finally it has led to the culmination of emergency, imposition of the emergency. She is hardly receptive for criticism, and she is getting surrounded by the sycophants. This is what she explained as friend of Indira Gandhi in her book. So that's why the war has no victors, and there will be suffering. And even India, though it has won the war, technically it's not a war, but though India has won the war, there was huge inflation and also human suffering after this. And then you can see the political instability which has come up, and then one man showship which has come up in Indian politics. That's what is my opinion with this. Thank you very much. And I have severe network issues. So I think by tomorrow it gets rectified. And in the morning itself I can resume to give you the videos. Thank you. All the best.